Hello everyone, today we'll be doing the subject of the formula, right? And to do the subject of the formula is pretty easy, pretty simple, and as we go along you're gonna realize that it's like drinking tea. All right people, but before we continue people, just asking you for a few favors: like the video, share so that I can get more eyeballs on the channel, and last but not least, subscribe to build the Tyrell community. All right, let's go. So the question says, make y the subject of each of the following, right? So it basically wants us to make y be on one side of the equation and the other variables on the other side, right? It basically wants y to equal to the other stuff on the other side, right? The other variables on the other side, right? It's pretty easy, pretty simple. So let's go. So A is y plus w equal c, right? So let's make y the subject of the formula. So y plus w is equal to c, right? We want y to be on one side of the equation by itself and the other variables on the other side, right? So in order to do that, we're gonna have to subtract y from both sides, right? Subtract y from both sides, right? Or in other words, I normally tell students that we're just gonna bring over y, right? And anything that you bring over the equation, the sign is gonna change, right? That is what I normally tell students, right? So we're gonna cancel out the y's, right? Y minus y is gonna leave 0, right? So it's gonna leave y by itself on one side, and over the other side we're gonna have c minus w, right? Pretty easy. So y is the subject of the formula. This is A, so that was easy. B is y minus 2g equal n, right? So we want y on one side of the equation, and we want the other variables on the other side, right? So in order to have y on one side in this equation, we're gonna bring over the minus 2g, right? Or we're gonna add 2g to both sides, right? So plus 2g and plus 2g, right? So minus 2g cancel my 2g, leaves y equal to n plus 2g, right? Pretty simple, pretty easy. So y is equal to n plus 2g. Y is now the subject of the formula, right? Pretty simple and easy, as I said earlier. And so let's do c. So c equal y minus k. C equal y minus k. We want y to be the subject. Pretty easy, right? All I can do is just bring over k, you know. All I have to do is bring over minus k, and I have y on it on one side of the equation, right? So, and in order to do that, we're gonna add k to both sides. So c plus k equal to y minus k plus k, right? Because when with the minus k plus k, will get rid of the k's. I'm gonna have y on one side of the equation. So y is now equal to c plus k. Easy like Sunday morning, right? All right, so we have d, y minus p equal m. Y minus p equal m. We want to make y the subject of the formula. So in order to do that, we're gonna add p to both sides, or we're gonna bring over minus p, and anything that we bring over to the bring over to the equation sign, it's gonna change, right? So minus p is gonna be plus p. That's the reason why we add p to both sides. So y minus p plus p is equal to m plus p, right? So y these two cancel, basically leaves y on the one side by itself and m plus b on the other side. Pretty easy, guys, pretty easy. E is 3y equals c. So 3y is equal to c, right? So we have 3y equals c. So in order to have y by itself and not 3y, right? Remember 3y is also 3 times y, right? So in order to get rid of the 3, we're gonna have to divide, right? We're gonna have to do the opposite, right? In this case, it's multiplied, right? 3 times y. So in order to get rid of 3 to have y by itself, we're gonna divide by 3, right? 3y divided by 3, and whatever we do on one side, we have to do on the other side, right? So we're gonna have to divide by 3 on the other side, right? So 3 and 3 cancel, right? Leaves y equal c over 3, right? Pretty easy and simple, very spicy and nice. All right, let's do 2 more just for practice, right? So this one says make x the subject of the following formulae, right? So in the first question we have 4x plus c equal w, right? So 4x plus c equal w, right? We want to make x the subject of the formula. In other words, we want x to be on one side of the equation and the other variables on the other side, right? So in order to have 4x x on one side, firstly we have to get rid of the c, right? Get rid of c and put it over the other side of the equation, right? So in order to do that, we're gonna have to minus c from both sides, right? So which is gonna leave 4x, these two cancel, 4x equal w minus c, right? Right, we still haven't achieved the goal as yet. So what we're gonna do, right? We have 4x equal w minus c. We still haven't achieved the goal as yet. We want to have x on one side of the equation by itself. So what we notice we have 4 times x, right? So in order to get rid of the 4, we have to divide by 4. And what we do on one side, we have to do on the other side, right? This and this cancelled, which leaves x equal w minus c over 4, right? So that's that. And last question that I'm gonna do is dx minus t equal 8, right? Right, so we have dx minus t equal 8. We want to make x the subject of the formula. How we're going to do that? What we're going to do, we have to get rid of the minus t, right? We're going to bring minus t over the equation, over the other side of the equation. And in order to do that, we're going to have to add t to both sides, right? This and this is going to cancel, which is going to leave dx equal 8 plus t, right? We still haven't achieved the goal as yet. So what we're gonna do, right? Notice we have dx on one side, and on the other side we have 8 plus t, right? We want to have x by itself. Notice that d is multiplied by x to give us dx. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna do the opposite of multiplying, right? We're gonna divide by d in order to have x by itself, and whatever we do on one side, we have to do on the other side. This and this cancelled, so the answer is x equal 8 plus t, let me draw the t different, over d.